Are we live?
We are right now.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to Let's Talk, a place where young people could express themselves, but also talk about the problems in our society that we face as young people and think about how we can make some change. So why don't you guys just introduce yourself first? Who wants to start? Rasheed, gonna start.
Okay, sure. So hi, I'm Rasheed. I'm 22. I just finished uni, and I'm really excited to speak to you guys today about why Bristol needs change from young people.
Okay. Hey.
Good, Taz. Go.
I was going to say, I'm Taz, 17, just finished my first year of college, and I'm excited to talk to you today.
Hello, I'm Tyreke, and I'm 20. I'm an entrepreneur who does seasonal drinks, Thai seasonal sorrel, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Okay. Hey guys. So what we're talking about today, we're talking about why do we need ideas from young people. But before we talk about all that, I thought we'd just have a little discussion about this article I saw. And the headline was Donald Trump's words, which was, "They're dying. It is what it is." And he's referring to the deaths of his people from the coronavirus. So I just thought that was quite a strange headline. It was quite shocking. What do you guys think about it?
I mean, that's a bit of a sticky one right there, isn't it? Come back to me. Let me think about that.
It's kind of insensitive, not gonna lie. Just be like, yeah, my people are dying. So what? It's just numbers.
Exactly.
But yeah.
I mean, but what else
He's
is
constantly
can he
one-upping
really
himself
say?
from me.
You what?
Sorry.
I don't think saying it is what it is the best way to address it, though. Like, could have said it a better way, really.
It kind of shows that he doesn't really care.
That's all.
Exactly. Do you feel like this is expected, or do you feel like he needs to, do something right?
I mean, what I know it seems quite. I mean, it's very insensitive. But to be honest, I don't know, how can you deliver such a big news like that? I don't know. I didn't watch the full interview, so it's hard for me to say. But I think it's what would you advise him to do? Like, I would be stumped if someone said that, because I mean, just stating the fact that happened, right? So I wouldn't know.
No.
How would you put it?
I don't know. He's too flippant and a bit too dismissive about. For a president, you'd expect him to have a bit more heart and more concern for the people that he's supposed to be representing. He just doesn't seem to really have a compassionate or any kind of caring gene inside him. But it's just one thing after the other. It's not coming as a shock anymore. The things that he's saying and doing, it's just we need a new president. America needs a new president anyway.
Guys, he did make a lot of other comments in that interview, which was stupid. One other comment he said was, "I did more for the Black community than anybody." Donald Trump believes that he did more for the Black community than anybody. Who does he think he is? I'm sorry.
I don't really know much about that.
I mean, what do you mean? What did he mean by that? Is he talking about his unemployment in general, or the community?
The difference in numbers, and you're saying there's a huge, because within America, the Black community and people of color are suffering more from coronavirus than anyone, and that he was trying to say, "I've seen there's a difference, and I don't want there to be a difference." And he also made the comment that I did more for the Black community than anybody. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think it depends on what he's specifically talking about. I mean, if you talk about the unemployment rate, which is by fact that when he was president, it was the highest growing. There was less unemployment within the Black community during his presidency then yes. But in terms of like the culture, I wouldn't say that he was the primary source, no. But in terms of unemployment, yeah, I guess. That's just in the evidence that I've seen, the statistics, so I don't know. Am I wrong?
I don't know, because I feel like considering what was going on during that outbreak, you know, the whole rise of the Black Lives Matter movement and all of that, I feel like even if he wasn't talking about anything like that and he was just talking about statistics, don't you guys think that he could have, you know, worded that better? Because it could come across as he's talking about everything that's happened recently. You know, we're still in the middle of it, so.
Yeah. I think it's not very tasteful. Even if he believes that he's doing stuff to contribute to the betterment of life for Black communities, he shouldn't discredit the work that other great groups are doing. And it's not like it shouldn't be about a comparative thing. Like, we're all trying to work towards making life better for everyone. It's not about I've done more for this group than everyone else. That doesn't come across right to me.
I don't think he said that though. I don't think he was like dismissing what other people have done. And like, I personally don't think it's as bad as other comedy made. It's not like he's dismissing like what other people are doing, or he's like discrediting them or anything.
Wait, which comment are you talking about?
Like the one about how it is what it is. I wouldn't say it's as bad as saying that.
Do you guys agree? Or do you feel like that was a worse comment?
I don't know, man. If I was the president, I don't know. I would say I would say the first comment was a bit insensitive, but I mean, he's just stating the facts, so I don't know how to feel about that. But the comment about the Black community, if he's talking specific, I don't know, I didn't see the interview, but I'm saying if he was talking about the unemployment issue, then yes. But if he's talking about Black Lives Matter and things like that, I would say no. So it really depends on specifics, like what did he actually do and what did he actually say. So that's my thoughts anyway.
Yeah, but if you think about, you know, because the virus and everything,
right?
Unemployment went up.
It went up.
Yeah, because of COVID. So a lot of people lost their jobs and everything. Yeah. So both comments were quite silly, to be fair. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I was talking about also before COVID, but during the interview, from what everyone kept saying to me, I think he was referring to when like pre-COVID, in terms of like the Black community question. But in terms of like the statistics on the deaths, I mean, yeah, I guess he could have put in a nicer way, but I don't know how you would do that, because I don't know about you guys, but don't you guys feel a bit desensitized? I'm not saying you should, but I'm just saying there's so many numbers coming out. I just don't know what to believe, to be honest. So I think we need to actually have clarity on what the numbers are, but also, what do the numbers mean? Because I'm seeing a lot of numbers. I'm so like, what's going on? Everything's changing every 5 seconds.
That's fair.
I just don't know if leadership can take an "it is what it is" attitude with regards to something like that. Like, it's not, because it just doesn't look good. Like, and if everyone's looking up to him, like, as a president, as a leader of the country, and that's the attitude that he's taking, how do you expect everyone else to take the pandemic seriously, or to take what's going on seriously? Like, we all need to have a proactive attitude about like reducing it, and he just doesn't seem to understand that or communicate that.
Yeah, Rasheed. And like, how do you feel like you should behave as a leader? Like, what are the qualities you should have, especially in cases like this?
Well, I'm not a leader, or as in a president or a prime minister of any country, but I feel like, first of all, like, treating people as people, like realizing that lots of people are very scared, and like using your platform to like, allay people's fears, and also when you look at like some of the most successful countries that have been like dealing with it, like a lot of the leaders have actually like been women, They're just like they've just been making good decisions. Like the decisions have been more inclusive, and like the outlook on the coronavirus situation has just been more positive and proactive than like some other leaders' leadership style. If that makes sense.
100%. But guys, do you want to quickly talk about this other article that I saw? And it says, considering the whole coronavirus and things that's going on here in our country, there's a comment made that schools must come before pubs and restaurants in the future. And obviously we're seeing with pubs and restaurants being open here right now, and they're doing the discount thing to try and encourage people to go to pubs and restaurants to help rebuild our economics and stuff. Do you agree with this? Like schools should be the first open rather than pubs and restaurants?
Yeah,
How's
of
it going?
course. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, of course. I believe that yeah, I mean the children are the future, so I don't see why we shouldn't invest in the next generation and be able to have the schools open with better opportunities for them in order to push them to a better future. I mean, I understand that pubs, there's chance for a job in which increases more employment and more money into the economy. But the reality is we still need to train young kids, and there's more young people out there than those who drink. I would hope, I presume. But I think we just need to focus on the kids, man. What besides social interaction, what else does a pub do? I mean, I live next to a couple of pubs, man, and yeah, it's good for a job, but like to be honest, by 9 p.m. you just want people to go home. They ain't doing nothing beneficial for the society at that present time. So that's my thoughts, anyway.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, because like me, like still being in education and I have like family and stuff like that, is hurt a lot. I would say is a lot harder, and then it's affected people's grades, people's outcomes. Like I heard my niece saying, she's like a year younger than me, basically that they're giving them their mock grades as their final, which is kind of stupid if you ask me. But yeah.
100%. But do you guys feel like that is a risk that must be taken? Because you know how young people are, the least in danger of, sadly going to the worst outcome from having the virus. However, they still have the risk of, carrying it. So do you feel like schools should just open and they should take some kind of, precautions to try and avoid that? Or they should just try and invest in like an online school, or, providing resources so everyone can do it from home? What do you guys think?
Online schooling is the worst. Just gonna say that now. It's a lot easier to be like at the school, and I think there should be more like precautions taken there. But there's always going to be a risk, because that's just how it is right now. But I think the risk is something I'd be willing to take.
Okay. She, what do you think?
I think I do understand where you guys are. I understand where they're coming from. Like I agree that like it's not at all great times or great conditions for people going to school. But I don't know if I think it'd be a great idea to send everyone back to school. I think education is extremely important, but I also think safety and well-being of everyone is important. Like putting 30 reception or year 1 to 4 students in a class and expecting them to social distance is not realistic. Then you've got to think about all the teachers and all the staff that are coming into contact with those people. Yes, it's like, well, there have been articles and reports that say that young people are less at risk, or they can carry it, but they are more likely to be able to fight it. But there's still all the families that those people will come into contact with afterwards. So it's risky. I do feel like something needs to be done, because like you said, like just giving people their predicted grades, that's having a detrimental effect for lots of people's futures. But I don't feel like we should be getting everyone running into a classroom before it's safe to do so.
100.
I think I heard they were bringing back it was year 9s and year 13s or something like that as well. I think that's important for them, because they're going to kind of transition. I think it was year 10, sorry. but like it's kind of the next phase of their education. But I wouldn't want to like downplay the other years as well, because it's still important to be learning something, and this time they need to be doing that.
Yeah. But guys, I feel like that was enough for the discussion, this little discussion. We should get on to the topic of today's Let's Talk, which is, why do we need ideas from young people? So the first question I have for you guys is like, what are some ideas that you have come up with in your life that you're like very proud of? Does anyone have any ideas?
Well, yeah. Well, for me personally, is my entrepreneurial business, which is Thai Seasonal Source, is my drinks business. I had it from, I would say, 2 years ago now. So yeah, basically, for those who don't know, essentially this business is a health drink similar to Innocence, in which it provides health benefits for certain individuals, especially in winter. So if you have a cold, I use a lot of ginger, so it helps with colds and flus and sore throats. And so yeah, it's a family recipe, and I was just thinking to myself, why can't I make some money from this? Well, really, my friends, when I was trying to, when I had excess of the drink, I would just give it to friends and family, and they were like, yeah, this is really nice and stuff. And I was thinking, when one person said to me, oh, this can get you some money, you should do this for a job or something, I was like, okay, we get somewhere. So it made me think about, how important your ideas are, because just me simply giving it out and thinking to myself, oh, this can be a money thing. It gave me so many different opportunities now that I'm working with people who do brand designs, graphic designers, other entrepreneurs who are willing to sell sell my drinks in their shops and things like that. It's just expanded. So that's one of my most important ideas recently that I've been doing. So yeah.
Anyone else?
No.
I took part a few years ago with some friends in an homelessness within Bristol project. So we realized that like homelessness is a big issue, but like lots of people don't necessarily understand like how homelessness can occur. Like lots of people can find themselves on the streets or in situations like that. Like, so we volunteered at a local shelter, and we interviewed people who were staying at the In Hope shelter, and we asked them if we could get their stories to try and like humanize the problem and like get people to understand it more. And it was really useful. And we did like a sponsored sleep out to raise money for some homeless charities. And I think, especially within our friend groups, we managed to like get people to see that like homelessness is a situation that can affect anyone at any time, and like we shouldn't always assume how that happens to people.
That's very good. I like that. And Taz, did you have any good ideas that you came up with?
Not really. I can't say I have.
Hey, come on. I know you're artists. Like, have you ever done something you're like, yeah? Like, you don't have to have an impact or something. It could just be something you've done and you're proud of it. Yeah? Oh, he's frozen.
Did anyone hear me? I think I cut out.
Yeah, say that again. It did cut out.
Oh wait, I was basically saying that I haven't really had that many impactful like decisions of my own, I would say. Just kind of a letdown, I guess.
I don't think it has to be impactful though. Like, it could just be something you've done in your life and you're like, do you know what? I like that. I'm proud of that, And you're artist, like anything like that.
Well, I guess the decision to choose my college, I guess. Basically.
That's still something good, you know what I'm saying? That's good. So I feel like it's just important for young people to realize like how amazing their, ideas are, whether it's impactful or not. Like if you do something and you're proud of it, it should be recognized in that way. Okay. Okay. So do you guys have anything else to say about that?
To say about what? Sorry, say that again.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So in terms of ideas, like how do you feel like would be like the best way to get young people to, you know, share the ideas about changes in society and things like that?
Oh, right. Um, I would say definitely try to allow more young people to find networking environments, so places where they can actually network. And I know because of this whole COVID thing, we can't do it in the way that we're so used to. So it's not, I mean, the best time to really start doing these like virtual meetups, these virtual like Zoom calls or Google Hangouts or things of that such, where we can start really addressing ideas. And I find it in certain aspects a bit better to do it online because, well, first of all, you can talk to people. I think it's much more easier to breaking and talking to people, talking to people online than face to face, because many people have the hardships of breaking into groups when it's formed when you're in a physical face to face setting. So now is I would say for some people an easier opportunity to talk to high profile people, kind of basically in the comfort of your own home, and everyone has a chance to speak. I think it's just a different way of doing things, which can be nice, but it's just one of the things that we have to do to move forward and continue to build relationships and express our ideas as young people.
Yeah. Anyone else have any ideas on how to do that? Rasheed, do you have any ideas?
For me, I don't know how realistic this is, and obviously I know that we're dealing with coronavirus right now, so I guess this is like something to think about for the future when we move out of this. I think there should be more integration between young people in schools. Like there were like a few local secondary schools in my area, but I wouldn't say that like there was necessarily a connection between, like the schools weren't far apart, maybe like 10, 15 minutes apart, but we didn't mix, we didn't match. And I feel like the best way sometimes to get new ideas from people is to integrate, because sometimes the best ideas come from people working together. So yeah, I think my idea is just to get more young people involved with other young people, and to get us influencing each other and bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. But basically, to those young people who just feel like they don't want to make a change or anything like that, or like they don't have any ideas, they just don't feel like they have any ideas they want to put out there, how do you feel like is the best way to encourage those people to share the ideas and put them out there to, make a change? Like, what's the ways to encourage them?
Just have people to talk to mostly, because most of the time it's like a confidence issue. Like they don't feel confident putting their ideas out there. They don't think people would want to listen, or it's not good enough. So I think it's just a way you need to get yourself out there, or you need to like encourage them to get themselves out there. Like I'm doing now, like I didn't have that much confidence before, and I say talking to other people will help me like develop new ideas, new understandings and stuff like that.
That's so good. All right, guys, we have to move on to the next section now. So Aisha's gonna join us here, and she's gonna join us right now, I think. Okay, while we wait for her to join, let's see if she's joined. Okay, while we wait for her to join, I'll just do a quick call to
Can you not hear? Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
we can hear you now.
Yeah.
You won't be able to. You'll see me in a minute. I'm just literally round the corner from my house. So because I'm driving, you're coming through the speaker on my car.
Ah, okay. Hi. Do you want to quickly introduce yourself and say what you do?
Yeah. So I am currently an assistant principal at City Academy. So I have responsibility there for inclusion, safeguarding, and behaviour management. But outside of that, I have my own organisation called Representation Matters, where I'm trying to challenge industry and education about the lack of representation of particular groups. But my main focus at the moment is race. So from the lens of race, why do we not see enough representation?
That's so good. Thanks for coming on. So now we're just going to go into the next segment, which is how can schools get the best ideas out of young people? Is anyone
Right.
or you could go, Aisha.
I think one of the most important things that we need to do is we need to be in a position where we actually listen. I think as adults, particularly as educators, we often come to the table with our ideas. And whilst that's admirable in a way, because we really want to make sure that we get what's best for the young people, what we don't do is understand that we're in a different generation now. And young people of today are very different, and we need to make sure that their voice is heard within the space and that we really take on board what it is that they're actually saying.
Yeah.
And what they need. And I think often the voice of the young person is missed.
Yeah, 100%. How do you guys as young people feel like would be the best way for schools to get like ideas out of you?
I would say, I would say that based on when I went to school at Bristol Met, it was definitely, they had something cool where it was like almost like intensive weeks where you're in a certain group for like, you know, well, a week, or usually it's 2 weeks when I was there. But you would come together and work on like expressing your ideas in the first week and seeing what we all can collectively agree on, what we would like to focus on. And then next week have a test demo on what we would want to be done. And I think that provides a chance for not just the students to communicate their ideas to the teachers, but the teachers to truly listen and understand where the students are coming from and really go from there. But I also believe there needs to be a much more individual kind of intensive week where, like, or an advisor, if an individual student has an idea, they can go to an advisor and really illustrate, I want to do this business, or I'm looking at business courses, or doing something different than the mainstream educational system, and allow that kind of conversation to be given where they can find out, okay, what kind of events can I go to? How could I get started up if I wanted to do a business, you know, and learn these things along the way instead of being kind of cramped to the academic curriculum.
That's
Well,
so true.
going back to what Ty said, like about the intensive week and stuff like that, I do believe they should bring that back, because I went to Bristol Met as well. Like, what they ended up doing is that they reduced it to a day, and it was just mostly just activities that the school set out. So I think that was lost as well. And then about like going to a certain person for like new ideas, like we have like a business counselor or whatever. It's like, you would say what you want to do, and then they would help you like choose like events and stuff like that, courses that would help you get to the place you want to be. And I think more attention should be drawn to that, because what they did is that we had one assembly about, like, when we were in year 11 about this person, so we never really talked to him before that. So they should be given more opportunities to like to talk with more people.
Wait, to add on to Taz's point, I would also want something that's like basically the business advisor, but something that's kind of outside the school, an actual chance to express the ideas and commit to them and actually go about. Because I feel like, especially when you're at school, they really force like a kind of academic way of doing things, and where you know, you kind of study for it. It would be nice to actually have a hands-on idea on where to go. If you are going to start off, how can I set off, and have someone actually like a mentor to actually guide you as a group to do something that you're all similar to doing. So if you want to, for example, if you're trying to create a drinks business or a clothing business, we should have a group where we can discuss our ideas, but we have a step, kind of like an example, or, you know, steps to set it up. So of course there's going to be differences, which is good, which allows us to express ourselves, but also an objective rule on how to go about it. So for example, do I have to look into tax, or do I have to, you know, create a logo? What's the logo? What's the brand? All these things would be nice to know and have hands-on effect instead of doing it very like, I don't know if you remember, Taz, but when I was there, especially, it was mainly, they give you like a leaflet on the course. They talk about the course for like 2 hours straight, and you don't even learn anything. You're just learning how to get on the course. You don't actually do the course, and that's my problem with the academic way of doing it. They just tell you how to do things, but they don't actually allow you to do it yourself. So that's my thoughts anyway.
100. That's so true. There's something like Babbasa, but like more involved in schools, you mean, like that?
Yeah, you need like 10,000 Babbasas.
Yeah, you need more influence in the creative industry as well. It's just more, like you were saying, it's the academic side.
Rasheed, what do you think about it?
I think, and I feel like I might be like alone in this. I think that schools tend to like stray away from teaching people about like politics and stuff. Like they don't teach you to have like, they don't encourage you to have ideas that might be polarizing. Or I feel like if we like teach students like things like that, like less like things like I don't know, like trigonometry, and more things like politics, like bills, like life skills. Those will encourage us when we come out to be like, to have more like life confidence and maybe like push forward our ideas a bit more, because we have a bit more like savvy about the world, if that makes sense.
That's true. Okay, let's go into the next question, which are like, what are the barriers preventing young people of color from expressing their ideas? So Aisha, what do you think about that question?
That's an interesting question, isn't it? I think for me, particularly as a woman of colours, I'm a black female, that's how I identify, and even as a member of staff, I'm one of very few, even within the staff body for myself. I think one of the biggest issues is fear. And I think it's fear of the way in which Black people and people of colour are depicted in society, in media, and therefore the impact it has when you express particular ideas, particularly when you want to call out microaggressions, racism, wherever you want to express issues of intersectionality, because often you're reflecting a mirror that often makes people look at their own fragilities, their own privileges, their own stereotypes. That's often something that people don't want to do. And if they do it, often it can become gaslighting, and you're always having to explain and justify why you feel the way that you do. And that can be traumatic, it can be triggering. And also, I think young people, for many young people, certainly some of the people I work with, they are at a point now in their lives where this is also a very new concept for some of them. They've never seen racism at its rawest as it is currently, particularly post George Floyd. And many of those young people are saying, wow, like we've never had to experience this to this level. And now it's totally in our faces. And it's like they're being forced to choose a side. Am I someone who's going to speak out, or am I someone who's just going to carry on as I have before? A choice that they didn't want to make, but are now being forced to make.
Yeah, that's so true. Do you guys have any comments as well about that?
I'm quite stunned. Quite stunned.
Really good.
Come back to me. I think Rasheed's got something brewing. Let me hear what he's got to say first.
I'm still thinking about that. Like, I really liked what Aisha said. I agree. I think we're scared to like tread on people's toes sometimes, and I think sometimes, you know, things can get misconstrued. Like people, I don't know. I think being different sometimes, not necessarily. Yeah, like being different makes you kind of a bit conscious to express exactly how you feel, or like you just don't know how it's going to be taken. And I don't know. I'm still working on that myself. Like trying to be the same with everyone. Making sure that I communicate as me all the time. But it's difficult. I think it's a difficult thing, and I don't know the best way to work on it. But I'm still figuring that out for myself, I think.
So you said like feeling different. Do you feel like it has something to do with like not seeing themselves in the people who are leading and making the decisions? Like they're not seeing a representation of themselves, so you see themselves making the sharing ideas in any decisions.
Yeah.
Can you say the question?
Sorry.
Sorry. I was going to ask. Can you say the question again? Because I kind of missed it.
Yeah. So, what are the barriers preventing young people of color from expressing their ideas?
Oh, okay. Yes, so Rasheed, you can say what you're saying.
All right. Go on.
No, I said it.
Yeah, I do think it is a bit of people not seeing themselves in the leadership. And I think it would be great to have, more diversity in leaders and decision makers, because that diversity will trickle from the top down to the bottom. And yeah, I feel like when we have more of that, people might feel more comfortable to voice their opinions and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think an issue, like answering the question you just said, is because when I was in school, I was never really I would say a bad person, but the way I would speak, they would be like, oh, you're too loud, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. And then you would constantly just get picked out or singled out. And then eventually it would just bring up this thing that you were just a bad person. So if anything happens, then it's just, you've done this wrong, or you could end up in a room by yourself. And it doesn't build confidence, because it just makes you not want to speak out. And I say that that affected me in a big way anyway.
That's so true. Okay, so guys, we're running out of time for this segment, but I just want to thank you, Aisha, for joining us and sharing your thoughts. It was really good to have you on here. Do you want to just say anything else about what you do so people can find you?
Yeah, sure. I think one thing I'd like to say before that is understand the gift that you guys provide. I think sometimes people forget the fact that as teachers and educators, we're the ones that are privileged, in a sense that we get the opportunity to help nurture the next generation, and understand there's so much power in all of your voices. And every single one of you, regardless of your creativity, your skill, you have something to offer the world. And what's really important is you find that and you share it, because you have a passion and you just need to release it. So never forget how wonderful and awesome all of you are, but also never forget how proud you should be of your skin. You've had to grow up with an education system that has told you you're less than, but understand there's special magic within who you are. So just never forget that. Please don't. In terms of representation matters, my name is on Insta. You can find me on Twitter, and I do merch that kind of says representation matters on it. So you can see lots of videos, and also people kind of expressing why they think representation is important to them. But I'll send it to you, and you can share it around for everybody.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah,
she's really nice. I really like her.
Yeah, so that was really good. So next we're going to bring on Marissa. There she is. Hey. But you're muted.
Oh, hello. Hey.
Hey, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Marissa, and I am a freelance graphic designer and brand strategist. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
Thanks for coming on. So the first question is, in your experience, how have you made sure that your ideas were heard?
I think most recently, if I think about professionally, taking the leap to just put my hand up and kind of butt in during in the middle of discussions and stuff, and trusting myself that I know what I'm talking about enough to kind of add to whatever conversation is being had. So for example, yeah, kind of having the confidence to not just sit back and listen to what everyone else is saying, but if I have a thought, making sure that that thought is actually heard, basically.
That's true. What about you guys? How do you make sure that your voices are heard?
Say it confidently.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, for me personally, I just went to a bunch of different events, networking events, different social enterprises, and one step led to another. To be honest, I don't think I'm, in that sense, I don't think I did anything that special. But I think what most young people lack is what we've been talking about, is that confidence. I feel like a lot of young people are kind of scared to talk to people their ideas, because I think a lot of us at a young age were insecure or something, and so they find it very hard to actually express express their ideas. And then they're shocked because they don't have an example. They actually do see, and it's kind of a scary thing because they don't see anyone else reach that kind of goal in their immediate circle. So I think it's to keep talking to people, just get it done. To be honest, I love just talking and don't do anything. So just get it done, and eventually it won't be perfect, but be better than when you started. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, true. What about you, Rasheed?
I agree. Like I get super nervous about stuff like talking to people, especially about serious stuff. So for me, I feel like the times that I feel most comfortable to express my ideas is normally like I like to be quite jokey. I like to crack a joke. I like to make sure the atmosphere is like relaxed. So before I even like try and say something serious, I normally try and jest and stuff. But I feel like once I feel like familiar, once I feel like I've established the connection, I normally feel like I can communicate like myself. If that makes sense.
I get that. So like, what if you would like to speak to someone who's like lacking in confidence, like they have all these ideas but they don't know how to like let people hear them, like what would be like your personal advice to them?
I think I would say trust yourself. It's quite hard. You might have to do a bit of practicing, like kind of talking to yourself in the mirror about kind of what your idea is and really fleshing it out, kind of in a simple sentence, kind of what it is and what you do. But more than anything, just trust yourself. I say to people a lot, especially when, for example, if you have a business, you know your business best. So you're the best person to talk about your business. So trust yourself that you know how to answer any questions or anything like that.
True. Anyone else? So what would be your piece of advice?
Oh wow, yeah. I would say I'm gonna come off harsh, but either you survive or you don't. Like to be honest, depending on the child, like of course, one method I would definitely be like, I'll be nice, hi, you should definitely like believe in yourself and all these things. But it depends on how hungry you want the success that you're looking for, because that kind of fear of not reaching your success compared to the fear of being judged by doing what you want to do will help you overcome it. So either you fly or you die. So just allow life to usher it in and then see where you come from. And if you really want the help, like if you really want it, you'll find it. You'll search for those type of people that will push you to that next level, instead of those who are gonna fear and cower and be like, oh, I can't do it. Because eventually, I mean, life is harsh, and so you either gotta step up or you don't. And so I'm a kind of a guy that I'll chuck the child in the wild and see if they survive, but I'll be there to help. I'll send some signs or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's for me anyway.
Oh wait, good.
Sorry, as long as I'm going to add on to something that Tyreke said as well. I think a lot of the time people they get worried about stuttering or saying the wrong thing, etc. And I always try to say, don't overthink what you're going to say. Just say it, because when you overthink what you're going to say, that's when you start kind of forgetting what you're going to say and then stuttering, and then you're like, oh, I lost. So just talk, like just talk.
Ooh, yeah, and to add on to that, just practice. I think another thing, I feel like especially our generation, we're kind of lazy, and we don't. Once we fail at something, we kind of we feel kind of discouraged, and we try not to do it again. But it's just to continue to go and fail and learn from it. Like what Marissa said, like if you stutter or you don't pronounce a word correctly, or I know you say a word that wasn't meant to come out, or whatever the case may be. Just learn from it and move on. I think we get trapped in our past a bit too much. Just focus on the present, keep moving to the future, and hey, you'll make it somewhere. I don't know where, but hey, better than where you started, right?
So Rasheed and Taz, do you guys have anything you would give advice about?
I would say most people are scared to communicate, even like people that are the best communicators, the people with the best ideas, even probably they get nervous too. So just like everyone else already said, try your best. Don't let that fear hold you back. Also, listen to other people's ideas and communicate with other people's ideas. Watch how they communicate theirs and learn from them, learn from each other, and help you build the confidence to communicate with others too.
Yeah. Taz, do you have anything?
Well, I was just gonna agree with what everyone else is saying, but like, I think the biggest thing that you could do is just try it, really. Because if you don't try, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
I think something that I learned as well was that it sounds a bit funny depending on the way that you take it, but people don't care as much as you think they do, in the sense that you might be like, oh my gosh, I'll say the wrong thing, I'm going to absolutely ruin it. But people actually don't care. Like, they'll actually just forget about it as quickly as it happened. So kind of just like Tyreke was saying, staying in the present moment and just kind of, if you start okay, kind of just carry on and get over it.
Well, yeah, I want to add to that, because the amount of times, especially going to these networking events for my drinks business, there's a lot of people who just way older than me. I'm like usually the youngest. And there's times where I'm always kind of like, oh, I feel awkward because I'm the youngest here and I don't know what to really do. But they really don't care. I mean, you know, they just really don't care. They're like, just get the job done and move it. So my thing is definitely just take in your surroundings, be in the present moment, look forward, take notes, especially from those who are in your field or who have done similar things. So you make less mistakes. Doesn't mean you won't make any. Because I had a bad habit of thinking I won't make the same mistakes, but you know, when you're going through it yourself, it's just a different story. But definitely learn from your peers so you don't make as many mistakes as you reach to the same goal or destination compared to your peers. But it just gradually gets better. It doesn't mess up too much, but you know, you get somewhere.
Good. Just for like the final question, because you know we're coming to the end soon. Like, do you guys feel like there's a piece of advice? Not advice. Do you guys feel like you have to act a certain way, or like, you know, you have to have a certain level of professionalism for like people to take you seriously? Or do you feel like that's not the thing that makes people take you seriously?
Well, I say in certain situations, like, you have to conduct yourself in a certain way because that's what is expected. But it depends where you are, really.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think, of course, you have to conduct yourself in like a professional manner, but I don't think you're required to kind of become someone that you're not. And in my experience as well, kind of in the creative industries, people actually appreciate the differences within each other and kind of getting to know everyone and like what their differences are. And that's the kind of special thing about like everyone. We're all different in our own ways. So of course you have to, conduct yourself in that professional manner, but you don't need to pretend to be someone you're not.
Taz, do you have anything to say about that question? Oh, wait, you did. Okay. Wait, is someone gonna say something?
Rasheed or me?
Yeah, do you have something to say?
Rasheed or me?
You can go.
Me. Oh, no, okay. Yeah, I would say definitely just time. Just take your time. Take your time and just get it done. I know that almost true, but for me, you know, but just sure you get it done in the best way possible, just so you can see a result and see where you need to move forward. I think that's just the best way to go.
Okay. Do you guys feel like there's like a cultural barrier in like different worlds? Like someone from a different culture won't take you as seriously because they don't understand the way you act and your mannerisms, and they don't understand you as a person. Do you feel like that's a thing?
Depends on the person.
Yeah, that's a hard question. Yeah, that totally depends on the person. I mean, I get what you can say, like, you know, me being taught by a different race, you know, they may miss some kind of, I mean, cultural things that you know the Black community has. But like, to be honest, like Taz said, it depends on the person. Because I know some people who really just don't care about the race and just want you to get the job done. I know some people care about the culture in certain aspects, but may say something that's a bit inappropriate. But you can kind of see where they're coming from. But you shouldn't. I'm saying you shouldn't take everyone's word as gospel and just continue to make sure you know what stand firm on what you believe. And hey, if it gets to a point where it's kind of too disrespectful, you can't deal with it, then I guess just don't go into that field with that individual. But that's very individual. I say it's like a cultural thing in of itself.
Yeah. Anyone else have any opinions on that?
Could you repeat the question for me, please?
Yeah, it was just like, do you feel like in like different cultures, it's hard for them to connect to each other and like share their ideas, and they might not be as taken as seriously if they have a different type of culture and mannerisms and just the way they are in general? Do you feel like that is a barrier between like getting your ideas out there?
I think it is, or I think it can be, but this is another thing that I'm trying to like work on with myself as well. I feel like it's really important for everybody in every situation that they can to be themselves, because the only way that we can like remove that kind of barrier is if you present yourself the way that you see yourself at all times with all people. Otherwise that barrier that's always going to be something that's there. Like you got to just present you to anyone that comes towards you.
True.
Yeah, I think there is, like, for example, I'm working on a project at the moment which is very focused around kind of Black women and natural hair. And so I was thinking like, oh, if we need to talk to kind of like other people about this, like for example, I don't know, investors who are generally like middle-aged white men, are they going to understand why this project is being done and the use in it? But it's kind of coming to that realization that you just have to frame things in a way where you're communicating kind of like the research and the value, so that you kind of have to tell them why it's useful, or like I guess from the perspective that I'm speaking from, I guess there has to be like an extra level of communication where you first have to explain to them why something is a certain way or why this thing needs to be done, and get them kind of like on board with you, and then you can like move from there.
Yeah, that's
so you're basically saying like to sell yourself, basically, like to sell your product.
Essentially, yeah.
But am I to assume that you're trying to get an investment, right?
Yeah, in the sense that I'm thinking about, it's kind of like, yeah, communicating my project idea to like investors or other business people.
Right.
Who might not be from the same like cultural background as me, and so understand the problem that the project is kind of dealing with. Yeah.
I mean, I think that in that scenario, then yeah, you have to communicate that, because it's just a cultural barrier. I mean, what else can you really do about it? But let's say if it went like on the one extreme where they really didn't get it, they don't understand, but it's still like a gold mine of an idea. That's when you have to go more so grassroots kind of strategy, and then really build up in the community. So there's all ways of getting around it, but I think we need to let's not always focus on we need the investment, and that is always a cultural thing that's always pulling us back. Because I feel like a lot of the time we always think it's the culture that's bringing us down, or the people within the culture or outside, but it's really dealing with the situation that you have in your hand, in your life. So there's just different ways of getting around it. So I think you just got to look at them.
Yeah, and I think like you were saying as well, but it's like the culture doesn't take us back a step. The culture is kind of like a part of us. It's what also makes us special. It's unique to us. So it's also like coming back to that thing about just being yourself. It's a part of you, and it aids in the ideas that you come up with because it's part of your experience.
Yeah, hundreds. But guys, it's coming to the end of the show. But Marissa, thank you so much for joining us. Do you want to just like shout out what you've been doing, your graphic design or anything that you're doing, where people could find you and all that?
Yeah, sure. So my graphic design pages are MLP Designs on Instagram and Twitter, or mlpdesigns.co.uk. It's my website. And then in my spare time, I'm also a bit of like a natural hair care kind of YouTuber. So I've got a YouTube channel as well, which is Roots and Done. So you can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Roots and Done or Marissa Roots and Done.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you. Okay, guys, so we're coming to the end of the show. So I just want to do a quick call to action thing. So hang on. I just want to say that if you're 16 to 25, you should sign up for Babbasa because, you know, they've got professional mentors, work placement opportunities that include being on this show. And they can support you in your dream career. So just email Pravania or drop her a text. Her details are in the description. And if you've got some money to spare and you like what you're seeing right now, you could donate to the Babbasa Beyond COVID appeal so that they can keep supporting us in what we're doing. The link is in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you guys for joining us this week.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
It was a great conversation.